Season 17 mid-season patch notes have just arrived and there are a lot of changes, so let's get into it. Before starting with hero changes, there are two events that will give loot boxes in the future. The first challenge will start on July 29 to August 25. You need to play with your friend for 2, 4, and 6 games to earn loot boxes. The second event lasts only 2 days and it will start on August 1 to August 3. You can unlock 3 loot boxes per day by playing 2, 5 and 10 matches each day. So let's see which heroes gotta change. Starting with D.va, her major pack, Heavy Rockets, is adjusted with some nerfs and a few buffs. The number of rockets is reduced from 8 to 7, impact damage of the rockets is reduced from 7 to 5, but explosion damage increases from 14 to 22, and explosion radius increases from 2.75 to 3 meters. The projectile gravity of the rockets is also increased. For Orisa, her armor health is reduced from 325 to 300. Her energy javelin also receives a small nerf, cooldown increases from 6 to 7 seconds. Our big boy, Reinhardt, gets a quiet buff to his major pack, Crushing Victory. Overall gain increased from 50% to 100% of charge damage dealt. Continuing with Sigma, his experimental barrier finally gets a great buff. Deployment cooldown is now 1 second rather than 2 seconds. Winston's minor pack, Short Circuit, receives a buff. Breathable objects now take 100% more damage instead of 50%. Now it's time for damage heroes. Let's start with Ashe. Her minor pack, Rapid Fire, receives a small buff. The damage penalty is reduced from 15% to 10%. Her other minor pack, Sidewinder, receives a nerf. Knockback increase is reduced from 20% to 12%. Bastion's ultimate cost is reduced by 7%. Freya finally gets the nerf she needs. Premier fire damage is reduced from 30 to 25, but her maximum ammo increases from 12 to 15. Hanzo receives many buffs and they are completely perfect. Now let's see what he receives. His Premier fire space projectile size increases from 0.1 to 0.125 meters. His ultimate cost is reduced by 8% and its damage per second increases from 300 to 400. His major pack, Dragon Fury, has its attack speed duration increased from 1 to 2 seconds. His other major pack, Yamagami Technique, receives a buff. Cooldown speed increases from 250% to 300%. Junkrat's perks receive great buffs. His minor pack, Aluminium Flame, now prevents trapped enemies from being healed instead of revealing them to walls. His major pack, Tic Tac, has its arming time reduced from 0.5 to 0.25 seconds. Reaper's ultimate cost increases by 9%. Tracer's weapon speed increases from 3.0 to 3.5 degree. Widowmaker's ultimate cost decreases by 10%. Now it's time for the supports. Juno's Premier Fire receives a buff. Minimum fall-off range increases from 20 to 25 meters. Glide boost is completely nerfed to the ground. Movement acceleration in air is reduced more when changing directions after the first movement burst. Lucio's ultimate cost increases by 9%. Zenyetta receives healing buffs. Harmony Orb now heals 35 health per second instead of 30. Transcendence now heals 400 per second instead of 300. And finally, we have Dev's comments, which I'll read briefly for you. Dev say, the meta in season 17 feels too stable. Most players keep using the same packs or heroes, so things get a bit boring. That's why we released this mid-season patch to freshen things up. Some packs don't get picked at all because people don't want to leave their comfort zones. So we make those perks stronger so players actually try them. We want perks to feel like they matter, not just give small stats. We also look at hero bans. Orisa gets stronger because her counters like Zarya are often banned, so we make her a bit easier to deal with. Triss and Freya do a bit too much damage, so we tone that down slightly. And Zenyetta's healing feels too weak with stronger damage passive, so we buff his Harmony, or basically we want to shake things up, make more perks useful, and keep the game balanced based on how people actually play. We are done with core game hero changes, and now let's talk about map and stadium changes. In mid-season, we were told that the Flashpoint map would be worked, which they did. Certain areas in Nevjang City and Sovasa are changed. Navigation is now easier as entrance to points become clear and simple. Building heights also reduced to help keep focus on points and create clear areas. With these changes, we can finally play in more open spaces, not worrying about whether the enemy is on top or simply playing more freely without knowing what's ahead of us. We needed these changes and finally we got them. Now it's time for stadium changes. D.va's power, Toki Slam, now scales damage from both from armor and shield combined. Base tanking power increased healing skill to 50% up from, and we have a new hero item for D.va, which is the first you can buy in a normal hero item slot. Devs say D.va struggles early on, especially against beam heroes, so we gave her a new item to help in those fights. She also doesn't survive as well alone, so we buff her to make her more durable without needing her team right away. Orisa's power, Advanced Robotics, now only fires the javelin after 0.5 seconds and javelin spin must be going on the shoot. Cancelling javelin spin also cancels the javelin. The third power, if a javelin hits an enemy, nearby enemies are pulled to that enemy's position now instead of where it was hit. If a javelin hits the environment, it still pulls nearby enemies. If a javelin hits a barrier, the pull won't activate. Devs say Orisa's javelin build works well, but it feels uncut at times and not always clear. We fixed those rough parts so her disruption feels more smoother and easier to use. Only one damage is adjusted and that's me. Slow ball now applies slow to normal hits with secondary 5. Time for support. Ana's epic weapon item receives the perfect buff finally. Unscoped resources adds 15% weapon power. Juno's stellar focus duration increases 50% up from 35%. Kiriko's clone build is heavily changed. Clone conjuration now makes the clone seal and damage contribute to ending stadium cache. There is now a short delay before the clone starts healing or dealing damage after spawning. Clone health is also reduced and can be increased by ability powers. Fleet Foot's cooldown increased by 30% when used without a target. Foxic Fireworks projectile speed is now the same as regular kunai. Well, that's all for the mid-season changes. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next videos. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.